Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to be making an exploding paper heart box. So check out how we're going to do it. You are going to need a thin piece of cardboard like the back of a cereal box. You're going to need one of those thin pieces of white paper and one of the thicker pieces of white paper from your art packet. You will also need a pair of scissors, a pencil, and a glue stick, and then something to color with, either markers, crayons, colored pencils, or you can add your color if you have like colorful construction paper at home. You can do it kind of either way. So something to add some color with. You will also need this box drawing guide, and I will leave a copy of each one of these because they're a little bit different. I will leave a copy of each one on this Google assignment so you can have access to that digitally. So what we're gonna do first is just do a couple of practice sketches. So using both of these drawing guides, we're gonna practice drawing these boxes. Now, as you can see, the final box looks a little bit different. So this one is kind of turned on its side, and this one is looking kind of straight on. So you can choose to do whichever one you would like. I would suggest to practice drawing both of them on your thin piece of paper, just so you can kind of get the feel of it and maybe see one is easier to draw, one is harder. Maybe you like the way this one looks more than that one. It's totally up to you. But you are gonna follow those instructions on the drawing guide and practice with a pencil on your thin white piece of paper.
We're gonna start with the number 1, and S stands for short, L stands for long. So on this practice drawing, we're gonna draw a long line and a short line. So the long line is our horizontal line, and our short line is the vertical one. Okay, now for step number 2, we're gonna add 2 short lines to the top here, and 2 long lines to the bottom. And then to each side, we're gonna add 1 long one, and 1 short one, 1 long one, and 1 short one. What's important to notice here is the angle of these lines. So here they stick out to the right, here they stick out to the left. Okay, so just make sure you're paying attention to that as you're drawing. Okay, now we're going to add a straight line to connect your points. So our points are here, 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 and here. So from here, we're gonna draw a straight line there, and here, here, and here. Okay, if you would like to use a ruler, you can. I'm just going to sketch this out because this is my practice drawing. Okay, then we're going to erase the horizontal line and connect for box flaps. So what that means is I'm going to erase this original horizontal line. I'm going to leave the vertical one. Okay, and then I'm going to connect these points to make my box flaps. Okay, so this long line gets connected to the shorter line. This long line gets connected to this shorter line. This short line gets connected to this long line, and this one gets connected to this long line. Now I have a little bit sticking off so I can erase that. Okay, next we're going to extend lines to show the sides of the box, okay? So this is the corner of our box. You can kind of see that there's a dashed line here. So that means that we're just gonna skip, and start drawing here. So we're not gonna draw on top of our box flap because this box flap is on top of our actual box. Then I will extend this line. And same with this corner. I'm going to skip underneath, and then I have my straight line this way. Okay? You will notice that these 2 on the edge, or on the outside, are short lines. The one in the middle is a little bit longer. So I think I'm going to make these guys a little bit shorter. Okay, but we want them to be the same length. So this one comes down this much. This one should come down the same amount. Okay? This guy might be actually too long. Okay? As long as the middle one is longer than these. Okay? Then we're going to add these kind of diagonal lines to connect our box from here to here, and from here to here. You'll know if it looks kind of wonky because we want this line and this line to be parallel, which means they would never touch. They would just keep going on and on. So if your line looks more like this, we know that it's kind of wonky because these are not parallel and they would end up touching. So make sure this line and this line are parallel, and this line and this line are also parallel. Okay, so there is your first box. Let's try the second one. I'm just going to, I could probably fit it on here. So I'm going to start with a rectangle. I'm going to just sketch it out. If you would like to use a ruler, you can. There is my rectangle. Then we're going to put a smaller rectangle on top. Okay, there's my smaller rectangle. Then we are going to add diagonal lines to connect these. So from here to here, and here to, whoops, here. Okay, now we have these little extension lines, and the S, again, is short, L is long. So back here, we have a short line going off to the right. So it's going to come out that way. And then over here, our short line's going over to the left. And here's a diagonal line. Okay, so there's those two short lines. Then we're going to have a longer line here going out to the right, and here going out to the left. And then a little shorter line here, and a shorter line here. Number 5, step 5, we're going to connect those lines. So from this point, we are now connecting our box flaps. And then for this front flap, we're going to connect these across here. And since you're using a pencil, you can erase that line because this box flap is open so that it's on top of the actual box.
Okay, so once you have practiced both boxes on your thin white little practice paper, then you can get your cardboard, your thin cardboard. So it can't be like a thick Amazon box. It needs to be like a thin piece of like cereal box cardboard, or like something that comes in thin cardboard, like Pop-Tarts, anything that's thin. So with this thin piece of cardboard, we are going to draw one of these boxes, and you can draw both of them again if you would like to, but you can just pick one if you want, maybe whichever one you thought was easier. It's totally up to you. So you're going to pick one of these boxes and draw it onto your cardboard. Okay, after you have drawn whichever box you would like to onto your thin cardboard, then you're going to want to cut out your box, and you want to cut this very carefully. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and then I'll show you what we'll do next. Alrighty, so after you cut out your box from the cardboard, then you can get your thick piece of white paper from your art packet, and we are going to glue our box kind of close to the bottom of our paper. So we're going to put glue on the back here and then glue it onto our paper. Okay, so I've got my box glued onto my thick white piece of paper, and right now our box is floating in the air. So we gotta sit it down on a table. So what we're gonna do is we are going to draw a straight line. And again, you can use a ruler if you would like to. And this guy is gonna go back here. And then we're gonna skip, 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 and then come out on the other side. Okay, so it's kind of back here. We don't wanna draw it down here, because then our box would totally be falling off of the table. So we want to make sure it's somewhere behind these vertical lines here, and that's going to put our box on a table so it's not lying or floating. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to add some hearts that are exploding out of our box. And so what I did on this project was do cut paper. If you do not have colorful paper, you don't have to do the cut paper. You can just do some markers or crayons with some hearts exploding out of your box, so they will be out here in the open. If you have paper though, it works the best if you can add on your paper here, because like here, we can cut out a heart and cut it along this straight edge so it looks like it's still partway in the box. So you can really only do that with cut paper. So here's your chance. If you have markers and crayons and you would like to add your hearts with those kind of materials, or if you have some kind of colorful paper lying around, it can be anything colorful. It can be magazine scraps, junk mail scraps, anything that you are allowed to cut up. That's what we can draw our hearts with. So what I'm gonna do is take my little Valentine's colors, and I'm just going to draw a bunch of hearts on these papers. I'm going to do a bunch of different sizes. So I'm going to do some that are small and some that are large. And then I'm going to cut them out. Okay, so once you have your hearts cut out, then you can start placing them in your paper wherever you want to. They can be overlapping each other. Whoa, come back here. If you want some of your hearts to look like they're still inside of your box, all you need to do is put the heart where you want it. And so I want it to be sticking out here. You'll want to draw that line. So connect those points together. Then you can cut that part off. And then when you glue it, it will look like it is still inside of your box. And so once you have placed your hearts where you want them to go, then you will start to glue them down one by one, and then you will be all finished. I'm gonna glue my hearts down. Alrighty, I am done gluing down my hearts that are exploding from my box. I think it's gonna look the best if you add a lot of hearts. That way it looks like they're really busting out of this cardboard box. After you are done gluing your hearts, you can color your table that your box is sitting on. It's really up to you. And again, if you did not have paper at home or any kind of colorful things to cut up, you can always add your hearts with markers. That's an option too. But I think it would look the best if you use cut paper hearts. So when you are finished, please take a picture and post it to our Google Classroom assignment so that I can see it. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.